You guys might remember a few months ago, I started this BTS book reading series, the book titled Beyond the Story 10-Year Record of BTS. But things got hectic and the project went on pause. So today I'm finally bringing it back. The reason, I'm reading this book is simple, right? To understand how BTS became who they are today. I have already finished the book like twice already, but I wanted to discuss it with you while reading and providing context and throwing in my thoughts here and there. Because behind all the awards and success that BTS achieved, there lies a very real journey. A journey full of fear, doubt, sweat, blood, tears, and youth. Whatever you call it. And a lot of you told me that this series made you feel strangely comforted, like you were, reading your own coming of age story. So I couldn't leave it unfinished. So we stopped at the end of chapter 2 last time, and today we start chapter 3, titled Love, Hate, Army. Now this chapter covers the era where BTS were no longer total rookies, but still not mainstream yet. And it starts with a subchapter titled Born Singer, which is their track uploaded to their blog in 2013. And it follows their the most beautiful moments in life. 화양연화, HYYH era, where they finally tasted real success. And then the chapter walks into the cyberbullying and hate that hit them immediately afterward, and ultimately shows how the bond with ARMY and the fandom became their survival and strength. So overall, chapter 3 is about growing pains, self-doubt, breaking the rules, and how BTS and ARMY ended up saving each other. Okay? Alright, so let's jump in. Chapter 3. You ready? Section title, Born Singer. On July 12th, 2013, BTS released Born Singer, their first mixtape song since debuting on their official blog. It was exactly 1 month since their debut and 3 days since their fandom had adopted the name ARMY on July 9th. SUGA explains what was behind the lyrics of Born Singer. I remember in the week after we debuted, Bang Seok said, "We should make a record of how we feel right now. We should make it into a song." He said that as time went by, we wouldn't remember these emotions. So when we were at the broadcasting station, I wrote down the lyrics on a notepad. At the time of the song's release, which is a new interpretation of J. Cole's original, Born Sinner, it had been uncommon for idols to produce tracks that were not part of an album, or to release them via anything other than the ordinary streaming platforms. At the time, there were some ARMY who didn't know where or how they could listen to the song, and so asked other ARMY for help. By directly producing, releasing, discovering, and listening to the song in this way, BTS and ARMY were making history. This history is ongoing. Anyone listening to BTS Born Singer for the first time now can experience the meaning of past and present. BTS, now iconic figures within the global music industry, define themselves with the phrase, "I'm a born singer," early on, and we witness them laying bare their present in perhaps an early confession. SUGA discussed BTS concerns about identity, talking about the line between pre and post debut, between idol and rapper. While RM admitted of his mental state when they debuted, "Frankly, I was scared, said I'm all that, but proving myself." And then jhope's rap goes, "The blood and sweat we shed, I can feel it drenching me. My tears well up after our performance." BTS lived inside these sentences, not only before Born Singer came out, but in the moment it was released and even after that. A small accomplishment was soon followed by despair, and as much as BTS ran full force towards success, their goals would remain far off in the distance. Their daily routine, practicing, throwing themselves on stage, coming back down again, and working on their songs repeated itself. But what would allow them to believe they had proven themselves remained beyond their grasp. Whenever they came down from the stage, it wasn't glory, but tears that piled up. It had been hoped they would do well when they debuted in 2013. In 2014, they believed they could rise to the top. But what about in 2015? SUGA says, "When you do this work, you feel a big disconnect. Separate from my idol career, I was nothing at that age. I would have been nothing if I hadn't ended up doing music. So, to be honest, there was no other answer. Guess there's nothing I can do other than this." The members of BTS left their hometowns, the hip-hop scene, and the ordinary student life behind them and ran headfirst into this world. However, almost 3 years since their debut, the thing that would prove they made the right decision was still beyond their grasp. In the same way, in a vlog recorded on December 19th, 2014, jhope wondered, "Did I have a good 2014? He reflects, 2014 was pretty hard, both physically and mentally. This was because it was the first time since we had debuted that I started to have doubts. This was also the period when I was having a lot of doubts about myself, as well as the path I was taking. And I was thinking, is this right?" As time went by, the members were preoccupied more and more by uncertainty. Even when their sales went up a little after the release of a new album, or when their name was being mentioned more within the idol fandom following the Mama Awards, it wasn't encouraging. In fact, these successes made things all the more difficult for the members. RM says of his mindset back then, "It was like things would work out. We had visible results, but it felt as if nothing was within our grasp. To be blunt, I think this had a big impact on us. That part was really difficult." SUGA unsurprisingly recalls a sense of haziness. "I knew our fans were increasing, but it wasn't like we could see them all, because there was a limit as to the number of fans we could see at the TV stations or autograph sessions. It was thanks to ARMY he met at a concert that SUGA wasn't completely eaten away by anxiety while working on Dark and Wild." BTS' first concert on their own in October 2014, BTS 2014 Live Trilogy Episode 2, The Red Bullet, became an opportunity for them to feel anew what the fans were giving them. SUGA says, "The first performance really sticks in my memory. It was my first ever concert, and I thought, wow, so many people have come to see us. I'm truly a happy person." The uncertainty continued. Of course, they weren't without reassurance, and they didn't have many options anyway. So, as BTS were preparing to work on their third mini album, The Most Beautiful Moments in Life Part 1, SUGA decided, "If this doesn't work out, I won't do music anymore." So that was the end of this section, Born Singer. First of all, isn't it kind of wild that the track Born Singer, which is a song so iconic for us now, I'm a born singer, I need to go back, it wasn't even officially released at the time. It was literally just a blog post. And that alone tells you how different BTS were trying to be from day one. They're just releasing a raw confession straight to the people who might care. And, it was released as a mixtape, which was a completely foreign concept in the idol industry back then. Of course, in hip-hop, mixtapes are used as raw, unofficial, street-level releases, which is a way of proving yourself without the polish or marketing of a proper album. But K-pop idols, they were expected to only release fully packaged, company-approved content. So the fact that BTS, just 1 month after debut, dropped a mixtape on a blog, that was unheard of. And it meant that they were deliberately choosing authenticity over image. And honestly, shout out to Hitman Bang Pang Xiao too, because he encouraged them, the members, to record those raw emotions, telling them that one day you won't remember how this feels. And without that kind of producer behind them, someone who believed in capturing the messy, unfiltered parts, I don't think a song like Born Singer would even exist. And also, when you think about it, there's no way that BTS could have imagined back then that one day Born Singer would be officially cleared with J. Cole's team, and included on their anthology album, Proof. I mean, that's crazy. And what's even crazier is that the fact that jhope would later end up doing an actual collaboration with J. Cole on the track titled On the Street, which is a song I really, really love. And that's not just growth. It's like Destiny level storytelling. And what hit me reading this again is just how unsure these members were at the time. I think sometimes some people mentally compress BTS growth and their journey into something like, step one, they were rookies once upon a time. Step two, they went viral one day. And step three, and then they went global. You know what I'm saying? But here, we really feel the slowness. Like 3 years in, and they still don't know if anything they are doing even matters. All they know is they're tired, they keep, crying backstage, and yet they don't know how to stop. And SUGA, especially SUGA's entire energy in this particular section, Born Singer, is so heartbreaking. He said something like along the lines of, "Without music, I'll be nothing. And if this album doesn't work, HYYH Part 1, I'll quit." Like, imagine putting everything you have into something and still not being sure if it was worth it. And that's what I think, defined early BTS. Not confidence, but desperation. And maybe that's why it touched people more deeply. And lastly, the ARMY piece. There's actually a footnote under ARMY when it said, Born Singer, their first mixtape song since debuting on their official blog. It was exactly 1 month since their debut and 3 days since their fandom had adopted the name ARMY on July 9th. And there's a footnote that says the name ARMY was selected by a fan vote. It was an acronym for Adorable Representative MC for Youth. Now, the fact that SUGA says performing for a couple thousand fans at Red Bullet literally saved him from a breakdown. Like, something about that makes me emotional. Speaking of which, the Red Bullet BTS 2014 live trilogy episode 2, the Red Bullet, there's a footnote that says the sole performance was across 2 days, October 18 to 19, 2014, but pre-sale tickets sold out immediately upon release, so an extra date was added on October 17. So, yeah, I feel like for a lot of idols and artists, meeting fans in person through stages and especially concerts is really a life-changing moment, right? And I'm sure that that's what it did to SUGA as well. It reminds me that BTS didn't get strength after they became successful. They got strength on the way from people who believed in them first, and that is ARMY. And one more thing. So this is a vlog that jhope filmed on December 19th, 2014. That the section, the book, briefly mentioned in the section, Born Singer, right in the middle of everything we just read about, doubts, exhaustion, and the lead up to the most beautiful moment in life era, 花样年华. And I saw that there are no official English subtitles for this video, so I wanted to translate the whole thing for you. And pay attention to how J-Hope's tone is like mixed with hope and anxiety and pressure. It actually gave me goosebumps as I listened to it and watched it again. So this is what J-Hope said. Wow, it's December 19th, 2014. This is J-Hope's vlog. It's already December. 2014 is coming to an end, and whenever it gets to December each year, I always end up thinking a lot. I start wondering, did I spend this year well? Whenever it's the end of the year, I get sentimental like this. It's already year end, and I wonder if I lived 2014 properly. Before filming this vlog, I honestly couldn't even remember what I had done this year, so I typed Bangtan blog and looked up my old logs. I've actually got one pulled up right in front of me now, and then he literally plays, the vlog of himself, and it says, "Wow, January 3rd, 2014, J-Hope's log. 2013 has finally ended, and it's January 3rd, 2014." And he says something like, at that point, he stopped the video, and he says, "Apparently, there was a time like that. Back then, I said my wish for the year was to have a busy year just like 2013. And thinking about it now, wow, so much really did happen. We did so many activities this year. We finally had our first ever concert that we had been waiting for. We held our official fan club inauguration ceremony. Seriously, so much happened. And I was so busy, I've got so many thoughts, like, wow, I really spent this year running nonstop, and it's already year end. I'm just sentimental. Anyway, year end's approaching. Yeah, it's December 19th. Year end is always super busy. Just like last year, we are preparing for the year end music festivals, the award shows, and everything. My schedule is packed, so I'm busy getting ready for that. In the midst of all that, I suddenly thought, wow, I made it all the way here. I don't think my position is anything high or fancy. I'm just grateful that as a singer, I've gotten to give concerts, release a full album, and somehow I've gotten here. It's a really strange feeling. I want to wrap up this year well and greet the new year with hope. Just like my name, with lots of hope. Lately, I've been thinking so much, like I keep feeling like I need to do something, but sometimes just once, I think I should maybe let myself go and just rest fully. Because my head is really tangled these days. Maybe it's because I've got this pressure. You all probably know without me saying, but I've been worrying so much about my content, whether it's music or choreography or any content related thing. My head's really a mess. I even talked to my mom about it, and my mom said, why don't you try letting yourself go just once and take a really good rest? Hearing that made me think, should I actually try taking a break? But then again, it's year end. There's no time. Just now, I came from practicing for the year-end music festivals and performances, so yeah, things are crazy. I don't think resting is realistic right now either, so I should control myself depending on the situation I'm in and get rid of these worries one by one. I've already been talking for almost 7 minutes. Anyway, I really hope I wrap up the year well. I'll probably film another vlog in the new year, but yeah, I want to finish 2014 properly and then welcome 2015 in with a joyful heart. Okay, I talked for too long. This was J-Hope's vlog for December 19th, 2014. And there you go. And you can kind of hear him kind of ramble on because there's no script. And it's literally himself recording a vlog, talking to himself almost, like the tone and the way he speaks is like a self-talk diary. So, and even back then, when everything looked exciting from the outside, like first concert, award shows, packed schedules, Hoseok was already dealing with creative anxiety and burnout. He talks about content pressure, about needing to constantly produce, whether it's music, choreography, or just being J-Hope. And the fact that he literally asked himself, should I try letting myself go, says everything about how relentlessly their minds were spinning at the time. And he still ends the log by saying he wants to head into the new year like his name, with hope. And that right here is J-Hope. Even when his head is messy and his heart is heavy, he chooses optimism on purpose. All right, so we'll wrap up the Born Singer section here. Looking back, it's kind of staggering how much doubt, anxiety, and determination was packed into these early years once again, and how little of it was visible to the public, like the general public, until they chose to show it through things like Born Singer or these raw vlog entries. So before we move into the next section of chapter 3, I want to hear from you. What surprised you the most about this period of BTS life? And do you think Born Singer would have hit the same way if it had been officially released back in 2013 instead of staying this hidden blog track, SoundCloud / mixtape style? And one more, if you were in their shoes at that point, exhausted, unsure, not yet quote unquote successful, but too far in to quit, would you have kept going or would you have walked away? Let me know in the comments. I'm excited about reading your comments, and when you do so, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. And in the next video, we'll move into the section titled Cottage Industry Production. And then that will be like a chaotic, like little studio where the most beautiful moment in life, part 1, HYYH was born and created. And it only gets more intense from here. Okay. Also, I know that in the past I used to read these chapters for over an hour straight, but from this point on, I'm going to break the book down into much shorter section by section episodes. The reason is that I realized that this book isn't something we rush through. Each section holds so much emotion and context that if we sit with it properly, we can actually feel what BTS were going through at the moment instead of just reading it. So by keeping each video focused on one section at a time, I hope it will give you and myself space to process, reflect, and even share your thoughts in the comments. Almost like we're reading this together, slowly, instead of me just speed running through it alone on this section. And it will also help me become more consistent because it will give me less pressure. Okay? But let me know if you prefer this new format. And if so, we will continue our journey like this, one step at a time. All right? Peace and love. Bye-bye.